Well, Memorial Middle School, we put a music edition on. It was part of the plan. We started in April, beginning of April, so we started before school was out. We basically worked outside. We were able to shut off one entrance and reroute the students and get the exiting to meet code. And we were able to isolate that so we could work and coexist with the students. So that happened until June 1st. Then we were able to move into the site, into the other music area, and do our circulation and our corridors and our renovations that were associated with the existing portion. So we're able to kind of then do the whole project and get it wrapped up and get completed before school started. They have a orchestra room and a chorus room that meets standards. So they're quite a bit larger. They have music storage areas that are associated with each one of those facilities. When we did the new George McGovern Middle School, we kind of looked at the standards and tweaked the standards at that time, knew what was, and so we went back and corrected those at this school. What you have to look at as a whole is how is the addition going to impact circulation? How does it all work together? The video they shot will show doors off the new corridor into the existing classrooms. We actually ran a corridor through the old orchestra room, the smaller orchestra room, and then we put practice rooms with the remaining, so we had that circulation that linked, and there's a U-shaped corridor system that kind of brings it all together. Then we were able to expand the TPC into the practice rooms that we relocated on that corridor, and also then developed, took some of that space and developed more instrument storage off the existing rooms. We ended up with one extra classroom that would not be needed, but that, you know, with that building, one extra classroom is golden because of the size of that facility. There's a lot happening at Jefferson. I mean, if you look at the video, there's all kinds of work being done. All the site utilities are fairly close to being complete, with the exception of the north area. The site utilities on Terry Avenue is complete, except for the north. Once you break down past our north driveway, then they're still working on the site utilities in Terry Avenue, but everything bringing up to the building is done for site utilities. That's water, sewer, storm utilities. The main connection for sewer is going to happen when Marion Road gets finished out next summer. So that we don't have anywhere to go with it, but it's to our property line, and then once Marion Road gets constructed, the connection will happen into the main system. The contractor now is putting the cement base on the parking lots with the intention of they're going to put the first lift of asphalt on the student parking lot, and that's where this contractor is going to start staging the materials that come in. And so they have something that's going to be somewhat weatherproof during the winter and into next spring. And they'll be feeding into the building from there. But we've got footings and foundations going in. The gym walls are, you know, the basement portion, that's the lower level. So that is being just finished up. And now they're working on footings and foundations into the remainder of the building, with the hope that those will be done by December. So then we can build off that. The construction of Jefferson is more of a winter type construction where we have precast panels, and you'll start seeing some of that happening mid-November. And then the academic wing is going to be a steel frame structure, and that's going to start also coming up. You're going to start seeing some of that coming out of the ground in November, December as well. Underground utilities in the building, there's quite a bit of it laid out. The mains are all in, and that'll continue on as weather permits. Started the masonry construction at the boiler room. Now there's going to be two masons on the job. One's working in the boiler room food service area, and then there's another one going to start, probably was scheduled to start this week. I don't think they've got started yet, but they're going to start working on the main corridor all the way down, because that's a two-story, masonry space, and then the steel frame will come off that masonry. And you'll see that just grow exponentially as things happen, because there's a lot of pieces. That's a big building. That's about double the size of Ben Rifle. So if you look at, put it in perspective of the square footages. So I would guess by mid-November or mid-December, you'll see the actual footprint of that building taking shape. And you see quite a bit of it now, but they just started that. They might have just gotten done with that first house. Your video doesn't show that, but they show that where it's dug out and they're putting the footings in for that first academic pod. So there's 5 of those, and you'll start seeing each one of those emerge as they go. But they're really concentrated on that main corridor through that, so the masons can get started, and then they'll start working through that. And then once the steel gets here, then you'll start seeing some of that emerge. Ben Rifle, same way. A lot of the site utilities are in. They're finishing up the main sewer line and storm sewer line in Faith Avenue. So that was scheduled to be done this week. So weather permitting, the final link. They've gotten past most of the building there with Faith Avenue, and most of the site utilities are in. They've also done the main sewer and storms in the building. If you look at their video, you'll see the white stakes that come up. Those are the sewer lines that will come out of the ground and tie into our sinks and toilets and whatnot, and our roof drains eventually. So you're starting to see the footings and foundations going there. The masons have started in 2 locations. They're concentrating on starting from the east to the west and the north single-story addition. There's an academic pod on the north side that they've started. So they've started both of those. They've got the north all the way to the end of the building. So the north foundation footings and foundation walls are installed, and now they're working around the library into the B wing. And it's a hope that they're going to have all the masonry 2 stories, maybe by the first of the year. So that's pretty ambitious. We'll see where they get, but steel will start showing up probably 1st of November. Kind of the same as they're really paralleling very similarly on both sites. But Ben Rifle is a masonry construction, so it's going to be a little more weather dependent, and things will start slowing down a little bit because they'll have to shelter and make sure everything's heated and not freeze as the weather starts going downhill. Ben Rifle's a little wetter site. I mean, I think rain impacts that one a little bit more than the Jefferson site. Now, if you look at your video, you've seen we have a cement base there as well, and they plan on doing some asphalting work there and doing the similar setup as what we have at Jefferson. So they're planning on doing their first lift and using that as a staging area so they can work not in the mud, but they can protect the materials that they're putting into the building. So it makes them be able to access the site a little better and make construction go a little faster and easier.